Welcome, everybody, to another amazing episode.
What the heck is that?
I don't know. Of the Schnozzcast. Some sort of wind tunnel.
That was weird.
Watch out for those Michigan hurricanes. Tonight, we are down a man. We have Bob Gurn Blanston Rankin on special assignment being our man in the streets. And tonight we
Money
have
B.
Cory, Nick, and Todd to still bring you the funny, as we always do. We got a couple different segments to introduce to you guys tonight. If you've never heard the show, definitely go back and check out some of our past episodes. We got a little airing of grievances. We got some TTs, TikToks, some existential questions if we have enough time, and whatever spirits happen to move us. Mr. Dillon, how are you this evening?
I am freaking phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Healthcare is the last.
No, it's not.
Oh, I thought we just had our first sponsor. Oh, Bob's going to love the start of this show.
Off to a great start.
Welcome to the Schnozzcast. Healthcare.org is. Yeah. Cory, how are you, bud?
Oh, hello. I'm better now that we're up and running and I have my drinks.
Yeah.
That was quite the process to go through just for a case of some booze.
If you guys don't know
Gotta
Cory,
get your drinks.
if you guys don't know Cory, I'm slightly similar. I don't know how you guys are all out there, but if there is the smallest thing that interrupts any part of my repetitious day, it can throw you into a tailspin. We'll get into that in 1 second. So, anyhow, we are the guys from the Schnozzcast, 4 friends that always bring you the funny. We are available anywhere you can possibly get podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Podbean, or like I said, anywhere you can get your podcasts, all at Schnozzcast, Schnozzcast. Or if you want to email us at schnozzcast@gmail.com. I don't know if you're going to have enough room, though. We get emails constantly.
Inbox is pretty full.
It is pretty full. Bob's going to have to take care of that. Or
Are we on OnlyFans too?
we're not yet. I think we're on feetlovers.com, though. I think Feet Lovers. That's the only way we can bring in revenue until we're
Grindr.
monetized. So, yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it really applies, but we are on farmersonly.com.
Yes. Figured it would take a little bit longer for you guys to find my profile, but
It is weird that it's only under Nick's name and not the Schnozzcast, but it is what it is.
wouldn't that be funny if you guys found out that I had some like super secret, like very viral, like gardening TikTok channel that I didn't tell anybody about or something? Then I'm like, well, I don't want to mix business, you know?
Nick, out of all the people
Or
on
your
this
foot
podcast,
fetish site.
Yeah.
yeah, that I could see being a little more on the DL.
What are you going to say? I can't sit on my hands?
There's no way if you had a viral TikTok page that you'd be able to keep that from us.
I'm like one of those guys where you just see me cooking things on a stone in the woods, but you never see my face.
That would be pretty sweet.
Or if that's not your bag, email, or you don't want to go follow us on all these different wonderful places. Also, we're on Instagram. I'm not sure if that was on there. You can text us. Go into your phone, type in 618-SHOCKER. The Shocker line is open, always ready to answer your questions, queries, gripes, or bitches. We're always here for you. We might not get back to you till the following weekend, but we'll get back to you. 618-SHOCKER. Gentlemen, what is going on tonight?
Shocker.
Living the dream, sir.
Yeah?
Dylan Collins says hello,
The Masters, baby.
and he says, you're never lonely at Farmers
The
Only.
Masters is what's going on.
Yeah? Oh, that sounds like we're going to have to get to a sports segment then in a little bit, so you can not talk
We can
about
just talk
that
the whole show.
and then get upset that you couldn't talk about that. No, but what I wanted to get to was Cory was running a little bit behind, and like me, but he's a little bit more extreme. Like he loves when things do not change in his routine. He loves his daily routine. He's got a place for everything, and a certain time of day, this is what he does. Every morning, this is what he does. And I think a lot of us are like that to an extent. But he was he was quite in a tailspin when he went to the place he goes every time to pick up booze, and they did not have his hard sodas. And he called me as if a meteor just shot through his car window, and he was spiraling out of control into a ditch.
Dude, I don't understand. They always have it, like cases upon cases of it. And I go in there today, and there's no sign of it anywhere. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
He calls me, and he goes,
God damn it, you're going to have to call Todd because they didn't have my sodas.
Oh, easy, buddy. Hang on. I wasn't that overworked.
oh, there was a lot of breaths.
No.
What I wanted to ask you was, why not cut out the middleman? Why wouldn't you just call Todd? You called me.
Because you're on my recent call list on my screen in my car.
Yeah.
So rather than grabbing my phone and being doing something illegal and having my phone in my hand while I'm driving,
Yeah.
I just tapped on your name again and it called you back.
Yeah, you don't do illegal things in the car. All right. Todd, how about you, man? Are you a creature of habit? Are you a man of lover of routines?
I guess I don't think that I'm a lover of routines. I think I'm more anal about things being kind of done in the way they're supposed to be done. So I guess I'm not a slave to routine. Like if I go to the store where I go to pick up my beer or whatever, if they don't have it, it doesn't like throw me off my game. But in other ways, I guess I'm anal, but not in that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not to the extent of that, but Cory is he's quite an interesting person to be friends with. He's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. But
he's short, but
he's
sweet.
He's a great short guy.
Fuck both you guys. You wait till I get off camera to fix my camera to say something?
Well, I thought your microphone or no, your ear things go with you everywhere.
They do. That's why I could hear what you're
But
saying.
the microphone doesn't.
No, the microphone stays right here on the fucking table.
But
I said you were sweet, you short bitch.
he's
You know about sweetness because you're shorter than I am, so.
the funny thing about Cory is he's pretty even kiltered, and he's pretty mild mannered. But when he does flip out, it's pretty hair on fire flip out, and it's pretty.
I know it's like
comical.
Baby Huey.
I won't even go into the story about the cashier at the gas station that I stopped at. That's a whole nother thing.
No, give him a brief rundown of that.
Oh, okay. So the gas station, the corner by Nick's house, it's always insanely busy, which is great for them. It's good that they're getting business, but they always have one cashier, and she's the slowest lady I've ever seen in my entire life. Wants to talk with everyone.
She's thorough.
Thoroughly, takes their cash and slowly hands it back to them. And there was like a line of 10 people in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was about to be the next person, this guy like walked up and whispered something over the counter to her and like pointed towards the back of the gas station. And of course, the second I put my stuff on the counter, she's like, "Hang on, sir, I'll be right back." I was like, "No, nope." I'm like, "You're ringing this up right now." She's like, "No, he needs toilet paper." I'm like, "I don't care. He can wait." I'm like, he cut in front of everyone to say that he needed toilet paper. I'm like, "Do you see this line of people behind me?" I'm like, "No, ring this up right now." She was very taken back by it. I'm like, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "I've been waiting forever. I don't care if he needs toilet paper or not."
Did you get like a golf clap of the people standing in line?
Privilege.
No, to be honest with you, I was seeing red at that point, so I really didn't pay much attention to what was going on around me after that.
But see, that's what I mean. Like even kiltered, mild mannered man. Someone asking a store attendant for toilet paper when there's a line at a liquor store sends him over the edge. Like that's what's so ingenious about Cory. You just never know when you're going to get that. It's a special treat. It's like an eclipse.
Dude, come on. How ridiculous. You see everyone waiting in line and you're stop and grab him toilet paper? Get out of here.
Couldn't they just say like, I mean, yeah, that's stupid for her. I don't know if I'd be mad at the person asking, "Hey, you're out of toilet paper."
No, I wasn't necessarily mad at him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have approached it in a much different manner and would have waited my turn. It's seeing that if there was like 2 people in line, okay, no big deal. There was like another 15 people behind me. And then so you just go up there, I need toilet. Like if she had a roll behind the counter and could have handed it to him, no problem.
Do you need it for the restroom or did he like want to purchase toilet paper?
I would assume the restroom.
I was going to say, who buys toilet paper at a liquor store?
I'm sure a lot of people do.
You must have to be in a real pinch. You get those little 2-packs.
$7.99.
So that makes it even worse then, Cory. The guy had to go, and he needed a roll, and then you made a bitch stink about him trying to get some TP for his bunghole. Dude had to go. When a man's got to go, he's got to go.
Todd, if he had no. See, this is where you're wrong, sir. If my man really had to go, if he really had to go, he would have went and figured that shit out later. Then if he was yelling from the bathroom, I would have been like, you know what, take care of that man.
Is Danielle here, or do I have to get my gun?
Oh no, she's here. She wanted to get food.
Okay. All right. Because I did not see Danielle walk in with you, and there's definitely someone moving around in my upstairs right now.
No, she wanted to get food.
Okay. Because I got a gun down here.
Do you?
If you need one, we can start blasting through
right
the
through
floor.
the floor?
Yeah.
That's probably the responsible gun owner thing to do.
Yeah. Dude, if someone is upstairs while we're down here and you're like, no, Danielle didn't come tonight, I'd be blasting fucking holes and running upstairs.
Why wouldn't you just run upstairs?
See, now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. You're getting a dog. You're getting a dog, Nick.
Dude, don't even, Todd, we've tried going down that path for quite some time.
It's kind of, there's mixed reviews because I've been thinking about it, honestly. I've been thinking about it. Every now and then I think about it, and then every now and then I think about why I shouldn't be thinking about it. But there are mixed reviews. There are a lot of my dog-loving friends that are like, what the fuck, why don't you get a dog, da-da-da-da. And then those same friends, if I actually start talking about it, are like, no, you're too selfish to have a dog. You would never be home. You can't just go leave for 15 hours a day and not come. And I'm like, okay. So then I just stay right on that fence when I started.
I've never been against it.
No, I don't think you have. I think
Bob probably has.
I think Bob.
But you see like how he is with Indy and making sure he's let out, every so many hours.
Well, that's kind of an important thing.
I mean,
he's Indy. Well,
and
he's
hello,
got to get let out once a day.
If he's lucky. Bob is in the room. Hello, Bob. I saw Natalie joined as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Natalie. No, like Bob's very like even like there's nights that we've been over here and finished the show, and he's like, I think I need to get home to let Indy out. I'm like, how long has it been? He's like, it's been like 4 hours. I'm like, shut the fuck up. 4 hours? I'm like, Danielle and I both work 8 hours a day, and our dogs are fine at home. Like,
and you have multiple dogs.
Yeah, we got 2 of them.
Well, maybe they're not fine. Maybe they're very angry. Maybe they got to go really bad at 6 hours, and you guys make them wait 2 more. Just like, see, you're insensitive about people and dogs' bathroom habits, bro. You got a bathroom problem.
Yeah, man.
I guess. I don't know.
Asshole.
The dogs seem to be fine.
Dude, ask for some TP at the gas station, you lose your mind. The dog's my dog stayed home for 8 hours at least.
Yeah, maybe
They're well trained.
Maybe BMs are a touchy subject for Cory. Human BMs, at least.
Hopefully that guy's shitting his brains out at the gas station right now.
He's so low to the earth,
Didn't you have something that you wanted to show?
Oh, yeah. So
I'll get us a shot.
Last night, we were at the Elks again, and a friend of ours, Brent, we were discussing songs, and I told him about Ram Ranch, and I played it for him. And he might have one-upped me and showed me this song.
What's a Ram Ranch?
It's a very inappropriate song that we like to play when we go to different bars, and people get really upset by it. It's very repetitive and very sexual. And he went up me last night and showed me this song by the Sticky Sweethearts called I Glued My Balls to My Butthole Again. So I listened to like the first 3 words and I just started laughing, and I'm like, okay, I need to save this for the show.
I glued my
balls to my butthole again.
You said the first 3 words.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that while I was pouring the shot. I'm a little confused, but.
So here you guys go.
To my butthole, yeah. Oh my God, what did I do? I can't take a dump, 'cause now my balls are blocking up my butthole. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Good God, I pulled too hard, now my scrotum's stretched out like a fucking yard. Oh God, my balls to my butthole.
the fuck?
Oh my God, what did I do? I can't take a dump, 'cause now my balls are blocking up my butthole. A lady doesn't want a life of watching her man use a butter knife.
All right, we won't go through the entire song.
Not use a butter knife. See, you love poop knives.
I do have a poop knife.
Baby, fucking please just take me.
I actually like the music and their voices. It sounds like an older song. But I don't like the content of the song.
Well,
Agreed. I'm like, why would you glue your balls to your butthole? Why? What
Corey, enough
got you
already.
to that point where you had the
That's
glue out, and you're like, I'm gonna put the glue on some paper, and then I'm gonna put it on my ball sack, and then glue it to my butthole. Like,
Yeah,
how'd you get there? Like,
I don't get to exactly what
that
Todd
is
said.
the never-ending question. How do you glue your balls to your butthole?
I mean, it sounds pretty
well,
simple.
it's not
but-
how do you? I know
Yeah,
how you could do it.
Right, exactly.
It's not a question of how. It's a question of like, what were you doing with the glue, and what were you doing with your balls, and then how did you even think to push it towards your butthole?
Yeah, what would be the circumstances where you'd be like, oh, God, I was walking down the stairs with this box of Gorilla Glue, and I tripped, and I didn't have my pants on, and those nuts went right up into my hole, and that stuff is instantaneous.
I was going to say, I don't know about you guys, but anytime I'm working with glue, I am usually pantsless.
Dude, you shouldn't be working with glue at all with as hairy as you are. That would be fucking messy. Very messy.
Believe it or not a single hair around that butthole.
Yeah, right.
You guys want to see?
It's like fucking a thatch. Just a fucking thicket.
No,
Oh, my God.
I use Todd's method of lift
Now
and
my
cut.
stomach hurts. Oh my god.
Speaking of stomach hurts,
Now my stomach for sure hurts. Oh, my stomach hurts for sure now.
speaking of stomach hurts, we are a drinking show. If that's not your bag, that's fine. Pour some water into a glass. It's not just for bathing, ladies and gentlemen. You can also drink it. But if you do drink, congratulations. You're an awesome person. Pour something into a glass and do a shot with us. Todd, what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Hey, you know what? I'm away from that Crown Apple this week,
Whoa.
and I'm back on that Winter Jack Tennessee Spiced Apple Punch, baby.
Dude, you better
Winter
get rid of
Jack.
that. You better start sucking it down, man, because winter is gone.
Yeah, dude. Winter Jack? Come on, Todd.
Oh.
Summer's approaching.
Yeah, Oberon's already back out. I mean, come on, dude.
Look at that sunlight behind you. Tell me
I
it's
know.
winter.
I know.
Well, cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Salancha, bitches.
We poured one
Hey,
out
Robert.
for Bob. We poured one out for Bob over here, too.
I'm not sure why Todd's talking about cilantro, but that's fine. I
Cilantro.
actually picked this up from Aldi's tonight. Tropical pineapple Kolsch style beer. It's actually not too bad. Not too bad. Mr. Dillon,
Yes,
I
sir.
heard you had some airing of grievances, sir.
I do.
Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it. As a rain blows upon him, I realized there had to be another way. What happened to the dump? It was destroyed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Todd Dillon with his airing of grievances.
Yeah, boy. Now, this is going to be an unpopular grievance tonight, but I'm just telling you. You know, normally I bitch about people hanging out in the left lane and loitering in the left lane and not letting you by, and then I have to go past in the center or the right lane.
Mhm.
This time I'm talking about just people not getting out of the way when they know you're right behind them. So I was recently at an old folks home because I go to one every week for a club that I'm in, and there's a bunch of old people walking around the place, and I was trying to get to my meeting, and they're going, negative 1 mile per hour. And I'm like, I'm trying to get to my place. If you could, move over to the right or not be in the middle of the hall, I could pass you. And these old people, they wouldn't move. And then when I finally got past the first old person, I get up to the next floor and I got another old person going about negative 2 miles per hour down the middle of the aisle. When somebody's behind you, get over, let people pass. What is the problem with letting people get by? Everybody's in a race trying to finish first, knowing they're going slow. Here's my beef. Get out the way. If somebody's behind you, get out of the way. Please, get out of the way, people. People got places to be. Cory, be on time, bitch.
Todd, I think we're starting to see a commonality here. I think this is starting. This segment is starting to become like senior gripes and bitches with Todd Dillon, because I think the last one was in a pharmacy, and you were angry at all the different people in line buying their pharmaceuticals that just happened to be over the age of 80. Now you're scoping out rest homes on the weekends?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
Are
Are you trying to get the good fucking room, or what? Like, hey, man, when old Mr. Miller dies, I want that fucking corner room.
Todd's going to make his down payment.
Right, seriously.
Corner
Old folks
suite.
home.
The corner suite.
Yeah, Todd,
I can't move in until people learn how to get out of the way. They got to move over.
Todd, I do have to ask.
That Luda song was playing in my mind.
You just kind of slid that in there that you were visiting an old folks home.
No, that he constantly visits.
Oh, I go every
Well,
week.
yeah. Why is that?
Oh, we can take that offline.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no,
I got
it's,
a boo thing.
yeah, it's.
That's-
I
that
think we
makes
know.
plenty of sense.
I think we know. He's scoping out the territory.
Nothing like a good old gumming.
I mean, dude, Todd, listen, Todd, if nothing else, is a staunch, professional, smart businessman. He is a smart guy, and Todd doesn't stop planning. So you think he's not going to look 20 years into his future? He already sees how old Bob is, and he's like, look, man, this guy has no plans. This guy's got no plans.
Bob's not visiting senior homes on the weekend to secure the corner suite.
Todd he's like, listen, I don't want to burden people. My plots and my gravestones are paid off. I'm already looking at condos after this house, and then eventually senior living communities. I need to plan this out, so if I don't have the presence of mind or the state of mind to plan it myself, that I know that focused, smart
Where I wanna
Todd
be.
made these decisions
Yeah, boy.
before I lost my mind.
Todd's already got a closet full of Walkers and Werther's caramel candies all stocked up.
Oh, dude, those don't go bad.
Ready to go.
Those don't go bad. You wash the lint right off, the pocket lint. Those are amazing.
If anything, if you toss them in the
Werther's.
dryer, it just makes them better. You get a soft caramel candy.
Werther's and Halls, baby. Werther's and Halls, baby.
Todd's gonna be like,
Dishes in every room just filled with them.
just imagine at that point what
Yeah.
what are we gonna have? Like, there's, if we have Zoom and video calling and FaceTiming and all this crap. I had to think what the hell it was called. I don't have an iPhone.
OnlyFans?
Sorry. Everyone hate me. Yeah, if we have OnlyFans, if we have stuff like that within a relatively short period of time, this stuff came out. I mean, you can honestly look back and think when you didn't have a cell phone, for people our age, let alone someone's Bob's age who, he most of his life he didn't have a cell phone.
They were using pigeons.
Oh, man, carrier pigeons.
Yeah, send messages back and forth.
But that being said, like, by the time that Todd, like, legitimately would need to go to a rest home, what technology would they have? Like, would there be a chance that there'd be, like, a virtual, like, a holographic thing that we could, like, tune him into the show? Like, hey, Todd, how's everything going at Shady Palms? Everything okay? Everything going okay? Like, I mean,
Another Werther's.
you never know. You could be like, man, this heifer across the hall keeps stealing my candies.
This heifer across the hall. That's insensitive.
I know.
That's who he's That's who he's going there to see on the side.
Dude, and I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't seem horrible. People taking care of you all the time.
An assisted living home?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're insanely terrible.
But that doesn't seem that bad.
No, it is. It really is.
No,
People preparing
not the one I go
meals.
to. It's really nice.
People preparing meals all the time. TV in your room. Comfortable stuff.
Have you been to an assisted living home
Yeah.
and spent some time there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there are nice ones out there. That is true. But for the most part, they're not looking too good.
The one I go to is pretty nice. It's really nice.
Dude.
See, for Todd to just say pretty nice, it's clearly below his standard. If it was that
No,
good,
it's really nice.
No. You can't say it's really nice now. The true statement came out in the. Oh, it's pretty nice, dude. That means
Hey, if people would get to the right, if I didn't have to freaking pass on the right, it gets an extra star.
I mean, dude, just imagine when he's in his rascal what he's going to be saying. Just imagine.
Thank you. Natalie agrees. They are awful. And by the way, Mr. Bader is in the room.
Really? I was looking at my notes here.
Hello,
I
Mr.
haven't
Bader.
seen it yet.
Thanks for joining.
Oh, there we go. From the Patriarch. Yes. By the way, we're going to put this out there right now, okay? Because this has been said to me many, many times. I'm hosting the show tonight. Not that Bob would oppose. Of course he wouldn't. But I'm going to put this out there right now. My dad wants to be on the show. He said multiple times.
That's not even a question.
I don't understand, with as worldly as I am and all of the hunting and fishing and the business experience, why you guys wouldn't want me to be a guest. He said, I've mentioned it several times. Nick has never wanted me on the show. I'm like, that's not true. We just haven't gotten to that point.
So glad you brought this up while he is watching.
Yeah.
Mr. Bader, for your information, this has never been posed to us by Nick.
No, it hasn't.
You are come over right now. You're always welcome on the show.
Actually, what I told him was, I said, Dad, we normally start at 9:30 or later. There is no way that you are physically going to be at my house. My dad goes to bed at like 10:30. He's not coming over at 9:30, and then all of a sudden we start at 10 or something. No, there's no way.
So we do an earlier episode for him.
We could do that.
I'd be more than okay with that.
We could do that? Could Cory show up on time? What?
Hey, just because Mary doesn't like that I'm running a little behind all the time doesn't mean that you have to put it out there, buddy. Which I did speedily get everything put together today and set up so we could get going. So you're welcome, Mary.
So we get going only 10 minutes late. Nicely done.
You are welcome.
But yeah, so that being said, I'm more than willing for no other reason than so he can say, like, yeah, no, it was okay. I was on the show. I guess it was all right. Because he's just, but trust me, you talk about stories.
Dude.
Like I'm just long-winded. My dad actually has legitimate stories, like actual good stories that you would want to hear.
No, I believe that a lot.
My stories are just bullshit, but he actually can back up his stories, so.
Two of those things are sports. I don't know what you're oh, no, I didn't see the comment before that Bob put. Bob's really going crazy in the comments tonight since he's not here.
I just want to know, too, Dylan had said when we were talking about the dogs that he said his dog will force herself to shit on the floor in order to spite us just because we left for 30 minutes. But my question was, he said the dog's name is Deffy?
Yeah, she doesn't really have much of a name. She was a rescue that Keegan found. And decided to bring her home to my mom's chagrin. And of course, even though the original reaction from my mom is to say, "Oh no, we can't have another dog. There's already too many dogs." And then after a day of being with that dog and laying with it and petting it and seeing how happy it gets when it's around people, she's like, "Okay, well, I guess we can have another dog." So yeah, Deffy was a rescue. And we just all kind of gave her nicknames. And it doesn't really matter because she is deaf.
I was going to say, is she hard of hearing at least?
Not even hard of hearing, completely like that, nothing. So it doesn't really matter what we call her because she's not going to come to a specific name. You actually have to go over to her and be like, hey, like I'm here, come here. And then she's like, oh, guys see people. So yeah, Deffy, DD. There was a couple other different nicknames that she was given.
I've never seen that as a dog's name, so I was like, wait, is it Defay? Like, what is that?
No, Deffy. Deffy.
Is it French?
Yes. Oh, fragile. Must be Italian.
Oh, my God. So this is what I want to know. Mr. Dillon, What
Yes, sir.
are your thoughts on OJ?
Yeah. OJ passed away. Rest in peace, OJ.
The juice.
The juice has been squeezed.
Yeah, I think my thoughts are this way. I mean, ultimately, I have a strong suspicion that he's a murderer. And so
Strong.
for that,
Yeah, I mean, well,
there's no eyewitnesses, and ultimately he was acquitted in a criminal court. He was found civilly liable, but again, it seems pretty amazing that he was able to pull that off by himself and get away with it. But again, I think that he did it. So in one regard, I actually feel really bad for Nicole Brown Simpson and for Ron Goldman's families, because they really didn't get any closure, right? He went to jail for something different. But at least hopefully the story ends and the other families can find healing. That, again, I respected what OJ did on the sports fields, and he really blazed trails as far as his rise to prominence in America, being a person of color. So that was really cool. And then to see that the people that ascend and are super popular can also be assholes and murderers was a bit of a dash to that. But I guess I hope that he rests in peace, and hopefully he made peace with God, and he's in the right spot. I guess that's how I feel about it. But hopefully the people who he hurt in life can heal.
I mean, didn't he say in a book, like, if I were to kill my wife, this is how I would do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I just don't know many innocent people that would do that, to add that much insult to injury.
Well, and again, I don't disagree with you there. That said, I would say if you didn't do it though, and you wanted to make a buck after you lost civilly and lost $30 million, if you wrote a book called "But If I Did Do It, Here's How I Might Do It," that's a way to get money quickly. And fortunately they put the kibosh on that, so he wasn't able to profit off that anyway. But
right, exactly.
It just seems like somebody said, "Hey, I have an idea," and since. Yeah, I guess I wasn't there, so I can't say definitively. I have a strong hunch that he did it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, his blood was all over everything. Their blood was all over him. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
If that was the case, he would have been a slam dunk prosecution, right?
I mean, he had some good lawyers.
The gloves didn't fit, and
yeah, I mean that was the nail in the coffin right there. That was the nail.
That glove fit.
Right.
I saw him stretch that hand out.
So they said, I heard that they said that.
So he picked.
They even advised him. So he took medicine for arthritis for his hands, and they even advised him to stop taking medicine for the arthritis for the glove, specifically so his hands would swell up.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, though. And this is why I say I have a strong suspicion he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the information that anybody who says that they said to do that, there are also reportings that people told the prosecution definitively don't put evidence in the hands of the defendant, no matter what, because it can get him off. Because again, there were people clearly who were also exposed for being bad police people. Not that all of them are, but there are people who are exposed for also planting evidence during the trial. I mean, ultimately, it was muddied because there were dirty people and people who did sloppy jobs on both sides of the aisle. And I think that's why there's, again, people to this day, I think more people now believe that he did it. I don't see anybody else had a reason to do it, but I don't think that it's as straightforward as he went over there, slashed two people. There was blood all over him. He tracked it back into his house. And by the way, it was like a drop here or there. It was like, like I said, the evidence doesn't add up, and everything that we hear not being a part of it, I think is kind of what the problem, right? We don't have all the information to make decisions, but we all think we know the deal without actually having all the information.
I actually heard tonight, and so I was really young when it transpired. It was actually something that, in my social studies class in middle school, they stopped class. So the TVs that they had in all the classrooms, that they would play Channel 1 news and all that stuff on at the beginning of the day or whatever, the student news stuff. They switched all those TVs to the trial to allow us to watch the verdict in the middle of the school day, which kind of blows me away that an entire school did that. But that being
Well,
said,
I think that's because that was history making, though. That was one of the first times that cameras were allowed in courtrooms. Ultimately,
I was going
that
to
was
say
a big thing because
yeah.
remember, prior to that, the Rodney King, the officers who beat him were acquitted, and there were riots, and there was no one in the courtroom to figure out. So no one understood why they got off, even though there was video evidence showing them clearly beating the shit out of a guy. And so again, I think that it seems odd that they would have that trial in classrooms, but that said, it makes sense because cameras hadn't been allowed in courtrooms until that point. So
yeah,
and it was
that makes
and
sense.
it was a very, very famous household name person being charged with a crime that you would never ever imagine a person on that tier. Ultimately, I was thinking to myself, the only person that was like what was it? Natalie Wood's husband, Robert Wood. His wife Natalie Wood died under suspicious circumstances, but that was like the most famous person who like seemed to get away with murder before OJ.
It's kind of funny too because Todd, I was right there with you when that was the first time that there was any broadcasting of a criminal trial of that nature. But I was talking with a guy at work the other day about it as well, and he asked kind of the same thing of like, well, why? So like when they were chasing OJ for hours and hours and hours at a very slow speed, like why wasn't there any sort of pit maneuver or disabling of the vehicle? And I'm like, well, you got to understand, like, this is going back to the early 90s in L.A. Like, if you were a celebrity in L.A. in the early 90s, things were different. You weren't treated like you saw, like the Rodney King situation. They knew it was OJ.
Well, it was so close. That was the other thing. If they had done a pit maneuver and killed or injured OJ without actually having him been tried and convicted, the city would have exploded. It was already raw and on edge because of the Rodney King. They were so close in time. If you actually, things were stacked up. Ultimately, with the OJ thing, there was in many fronts, police were very, very deferential because they didn't want LA to explode and erupt into another riot.
Well, and I honestly think those times are different than these times. Certainly, that can be said. But there was a lot of people thinking that the white people think he's guilty and the black people think he's innocent, and that there may have been some truth to that, but that has certainly changed, since the trial, at least from my experience. But I think that was also a sign of the times, exactly like what you said, Todd. I think it was, on the heels of that, it's easy to want to feel, like, hey, we there's been an injustice, and here's another example of that.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think that many black people necessarily thought right out of the gate that he was innocent versus white people thinking he was guilty. I think the problem was people of color felt that no matter what, he wouldn't get a fair trial, even and therein lies the whole thing. It's like at the end of the day, because he was not only a person of color, but a person of color with tremendous means, he was able to get a more than fair trial because he was able to hire the first time I'd ever heard of a dream team of lawyers. In fact, I think up until that point, I thought that defendants had like one lawyer, and it was the one that they could afford at the time. But the fact that he had assembled a dream team, look at it and look at what spawned that. Johnny Cochran spawned a character on Seinfeld, one of the most amazing comedies of all time. The fact that all the judge shows are all spawned from Ito being demonstrative judge of the day, holding court and being himself a celebrity. Ultimately, that time spawned a lot of things, and celebrity really got pulled into the forefront. A person was able to actually buy enough lawyer power to poke holes enough to not have a reasonable doubt. And I think, like I said, the biggest thing that people of color were more familiar with was not getting a fair trial, him getting railroaded in some way. And he was able to finance that, a non-railroading or even an actual coming to justice. Because the funnier thing is, he gets found innocent, and then they take $30 million away from him. That's kind of the interesting dynamic of that whole thing, right? And then he goes to jail from stealing back his own sports memorabilia.
So,
Speaking of
the
dream
craziest
teams,
thing ever.
we have a shot here sitting in front of us.
oh, geez, I didn't even know we did. All
I
right.
didn't know either. Hang on, give me one sec.
So, rough segue.
Trying to polish off this Jack winner.
You're trying to polish off Jack? What?
Don't tell Bob.
I don't want to know what's going on under that desk, Todd.
There's more than one Jack in the world.
Oh, why did I look down the second you licked the top of that fucking bottle? That was disgusting.
I'm so thankful I didn't see that.
Oh, Todd, come on,
Sweet.
buddy.
It's my bottle. Fuck you.
No way
Salute.
to really bum- Cheers. So, Todd, we went,
Yes, sir.
thanks to my father, my dad hooked up several months ago, us to go see Jeff Dunham for the whole family. He took care of all the tickets. It was one of his Christmas gifts. My aunt, my cousin Natalie, him, me, Greg, my brother's daughter Desi, and his wife Mari, and very, very nice gesture. Outside of seeing him on YouTube, and the stuff he plays over and over, I didn't know much of him recently. Very entertaining. He was at the Fox, had a nice dinner, and he brought up the OJ thing. And he said the reason I bring this up is, he said, because I was contacted by the courthouse asking me if I wanted to put on a show for the jury, for the OJ jury. Kind of like get their minds off things, ways for them to kind of disassociate themselves from the trial during the time. And he posted a picture. He had all the photo evidence and stuff to back it up. And he said, they said, Jeff, we want you to come in for a trial run and go through with...
No pun intended.
Yeah. Go through with us what you're going to do for the jury. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And he said, little did they know, I was very excited about the trial at the time, and I made a Judge Ito dummy. And I was going to do some Judge Ito stuff. He's like, I was very proud of it.
I'm sure they put the kibosh on that very quickly.
He goes, I left the Judge Ito dummy for the last part of the bit. He goes, the bailiffs were sitting there watching me, and I put on the show, the pre-show, for them to approve or disapprove. And they were cracking up and, shaking my hand and laughing.
But you can't do it.
And he goes, I brought out the EO dummy, and everyone's faces turned gray, and they went, nope.
Yeah.
They were like, and then he showed a side by side of him with this, 90s crazy hair and this little Judge Ito dummy that he had made. And they wouldn't let him do it. So he did his act, but they wouldn't let him use the dummy.
What the hell is that? We go to jury duty. We have to sit in a disgusting room with a bunch of sweaty people in a nasty old building for hours upon hours. You go to the OJ trial, you get performances in between?
You got Jeff Dunham.
God.
You know what's funny? You say that. I in my entire life, I've been a registered voter everywhere I've ever been. And I've never, ever been chosen for jury duty. And finally, a couple of months ago, I got a jury summons here in Washington, and I was super excited. I'm like, hey, I get to finally be a part of this system. And yeah, I got passed over again. I've never, ever been a part of jury duty. So
I don't think you're not a minority in that situation by any means. I've gone, I think, 3 times now, and I was never selected myself either. I don't think
I've never even been. I mean, literally, this is the first time I've been summoned. Even.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously, I've never ever gotten a summons. This is the first time in my life.
Wow, that's pretty insane. Yeah, because I said I think I've had 3 of them, and from a lot of people that I've talked to, they're like that's on the low end. They're like only 3.
Yeah, I've probably had about 3, and I've had to go down there, each time. And the times that I had to go, I was in law enforcement. And I just went up to the window and I was like, was sitting for like 45 minutes, and they're like, oh, we're going to come out, and we're going to do this. And I think they were going to give us 25. So I wasn't going to get paid for like a missed day at work. I was going to get like $25 for parking and lunch or some bullshit like that. I'm like,
You have to get paid for a missed day of work.
I forget what the situation was, but it sucked. And, but anyhow,
I was excited. I would love to be a part of the process. I actually signed. I was going to donate my whatever the pay that they gave you. I signed up to donate it. I'm like, let me be a part of the system. And they're like, don't do anything unless a bailiff contacts you. And I didn't get. And it's like, and on the day of, I was sitting by my phone. I'm like, come on, dial a number. But they never call me.
dude, I'd like if there was a fast track to be involved, like that would be awesome. Civil duty, sure. But you're down here at this fucking huge building in Detroit, sitting like you're sitting in the Secretary of State's office with mouth-breathing people. It's 85
rock biters.
85 degrees. It's like a leper colony in there. And I went up to the fucking window, man, and I was like, she's like, oh, what number are you? Because they called me up for something. And I said this, and she's like, oh, we got a couple questions for you. I said, I work in law enforcement. I think all criminals should go to jail, just so you know. She's like, you are dismissed. I'm like, okay, thanks. And I got to leave.
Todd, you'll appreciate this. Well, I think Mary might even more. The last time I had jury duty, I showed up. I was like 2 hours late, and
you late?
Wait a second.
I'm like, I know exactly how this process goes. So I showed up. Everyone's already sitting in the room. They've been sitting there for 2 hours already, from 7 a.m. until 9 now. And I
didn't have like smartphones back then when I went. And you couldn't like make yourself busy watching movies on your phone.
Well, no, and you used to not be able to even take anything into the court into the courthouse, let alone not even into an actual courtroom.
Yeah,
just into the building itself. Yeah. So yeah, you had to sit there and like read a magazine.
Torture.
So I showed up. I was about 2 hours late. I got to the window, and I handed the lady my summons, and she's like, you were supposed to be here at 7, and I was like, yeah, I hit a little traffic. She's like, well, this is unacceptable. I was like, okay, then I'll leave. She's like, well, no, have a seat. I'm like, oh, see? Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal that I was 2 hours late. Mm-hmm. And then 45 minutes after that, I got dismissed.
Privilege.
Wow.
Privileged my ass. they like I said, they were just happy that I even showed up at all. So
exactly. I'd have been tased.
She didn't want to make too much of it. She didn't want to make too much of a scene. She thought it'd be a hate crime getting into an argument with a dwarf. So,
hey, it works in my favor at some points.
Cory, I hear you have some TikToks.
I have one for you guys today.
Yeah?
Yep. Go ahead and play it, buddy.
TikToks. Are you ready? Are you ready? TikToks.
All right. Look at that amazing artwork. It's crazy. Beautiful song. Love it. This looks like an 80s video, Cory.
Love it.
Well, Nick, as per one of your requests, I went ahead and went online and found some real men of genius.
Oh, yes.
So here's the first one. They said this is the only one I got for you guys today. But
here's the first one. This is the only one I got.
But I think I'm going to find a couple more because this one, Danielle and I actually both watched it, and we were both cracking up. And it took you back to a different time when commercials were actually pretty good. Oh, got to hit down there. That's right.
Budweiser presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
Mr. Footlong Hot Dog Inventor.
when conventional wisdom said no one could make a hot dog longer than 6 inches, you dared to dream. You knew the limitations of a regular-sized hot dog bun, and you ignored them. You made a 10-inch wiener, and people cheered. But you weren't satisfied. You said, wait, I think I can still give you 2 more inches. So this bud's for you, Mr. Hot Dog Hero, because you gave every single one of us our fondest wish, a bigger wiener.
Hit the button.
There you guys go.
Hit the button.
Yeah, the wieners.
Oh, God. That's putting me on the spot. Hold on.
Even their wieners.
No, that was good,
Yeah.
man. You could never
a
even
good one.
do that commercial
Dude,
today.
the double entendres in there are so, yeah, there's no way that commercial would ever air today. Ever. But when I said we were watching that, we were just both cracking up. Like that they made some pretty good ones. So that's the first in a long list of hopefully other good real men of genius that I can find for you guys. So I figured I'd keep it short and simple with the TikToks today, and give you that gem.
Amazing.
I like it. That's a good
Fantastic,
one.
sir. Fantastic. All right, guys.
Existential question of the week.
All right. For this week's installment of Nick's Existential Question, while Cory readies the artwork, it looks like he was on top of his game.
I got you.
For this installment of Nick's Existential Question.
What?
Oh! Existential Question.
Existential.
Yes. We got 6 to
Put
choose
it down
from
in the
here.
jar.
Man, that was like a $5 word.
Yeah, I don't even, but that wasn't
Get out of here. Yes, it was.
I wasn't intending, thinking that was the way you should pronounce it, and I immediately corrected it.
That's not the point of the
Okay.
jar.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not
I can
about
put my-
corrections.
I'm outnumbered. For people that don't know what the hell we're talking about, we have a mispronunciation jar, which I guess that.
Like YouTube.
Yeah, thank you. I think we just keep looking fucking past that one. We have to put $1 in the jar every time there's a mispronunciation, and really, it's for when people think that words are not what they seem. But yeah, so
No, I think you're making your own rules up.
No,
there, buddy.
no, I'm outnumbered. It's a democratic system. I agree. All right, so for this installment of Nick's Existential Question, we have 2. It's a twofold question.
Oh boy.
Question number 1. What do you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with? One thing that you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with. And number 2, what is your favorite weird smell? That's what we want to know. Those 2 things. If you got an answer, that's good. I could probably go first on the second one.
You can't go with the second question first. We got to cover the first question first.
Well, they're out there. They're out in the world. If you want to answer them, that's great. It doesn't have to be in order. It's my segment. So,
Okay.
So I'll go first.
I like it. Make your.
What's that?
No, I said I like it. Make the rules yourself.
That's right. Yeah, it's democratically. I will live within the confines of the rules of the system. On my segment, you're in my house, baby. I fucking make these rules.
Well, then go ahead and answer the second one.
Yeah, I'm going to answer the second one. What's your favorite weird smell? I would have to say it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between... No, it's not even a toss-up. I was going to say gasoline, but no, it's not. I would say the smell of my cabin up north, for whatever reason, we do have a crawl space underneath. And I know, as my grandpa used to say, sometimes varmints get underneath there.
Not the varmint.
The varmints. But the cabin always smells musty and has a strong undertone of skunk when you walk into it. I mean, it's just like permanently installed. It's like we have Glade plugins that are like now with skunk scent, like everywhere. Like it's always got like a skunky kind of, it's like a skunk beer or actual skunk. And anytime we open it up, it's always closed up for a long period of time. It has that smell to it, and it's not a horrible scent to me. It reminds me of up north. Like I associate it with being something positive.
Fair enough. That works.
What are your thoughts, Todd?
No, I mean, ultimately, yeah, I could see that. I mean, ultimately, you said many times how much fun you've had there, and again, you enjoy taking people there. So it's not surprising, even if the smell wouldn't necessarily be appetizing to others. But when knowing that you go there and you're surrounded by family, even if they're there or not there, that makes sense to me. So I love it. So are you throwing it over to me? Because I'm still thinking of my smell. I think I have my answer.
If you have one of them.
I do. So for the first question, the thing that comes easy to me is, and this is really weird, I think, and Bob might I know Bob will get this. It's technology, but like the real Nat's ass detail around specific technologies is what comes easily to me. There's a technology that Bob and I, for one of the backup recovery tools that we used to deploy back in the day, and I really, really loved kind of how it all worked. And so figuring out all the cylinder sizes and all the little different slices of disk that you needed to configure this one specific type of backup, and how it worked, and like understanding, again, to the Nat's ass, how that worked. That's something that and everything I've ever done in tech, I sweat the details. And so when it comes to disk and memory and CPU and the inner workings of the computer and not apps, so don't get on me about not being able to figure out Switcher, Cory. The Nat's ass of computer hardware and how that all networking works. I think that's something that I enjoy and comes easily to me. And I don't know that a lot of people might be intimidated by it.
No, I'm glad you said that, because that does explain a lot. Todd's still working with 1980s technology, so that explains why he doesn't get today's day and age of technology. You know what, Todd? Now I feel bad.
That doesn't make any sense, Cory. Technology. So the cloud is not technology? New technology? That's 80s technology, you're saying?
No, the cloud's new technology.
There's still compute and networking in there? Yeah.
Todd,
I didn't say that I was the king of all apps. I didn't say I was the king of all apps.
Todd, don't you have a 1 of 250 challenge coin for introducing an instantaneous money transfer system that has changed the world?
Word to the mother. Thank you for bringing that up, Nick. The first new cash rail in the United States in over 50 years, baby.
That allows everyone that uses and transfers money to do it instantaneously instead of having a 1 to 3 day bank transfer. Isn't that what you were? Weren't
in less
you on
than
that
30
team?
Seconds.
Banks were happy about that.
I was on that team, baby.
Weren't you on that team of 250? Look at that coin right there, ladies and gentlemen. 1 of 250.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, it's so old and dusty.
Yeah, boy.
He was like,
"Thank you, Nick."
Yeah, man. I mean that blew me away. But I will say your counterpart, Mr. Gern Blandstone, to keep his real identity secret. There's not been one thing, technologically speaking, that we've needed a question answered that he hasn't been like, I don't fucking know. He said that. He's like,
ask him what a gatekeeper is. He knows that.
And Cory's always been like,
ask him what a gatekeeper is.
Dude, don't you fucking work in IT? Like, this conversation has happened multiple times. And he always has some kind of excuse, like
he works in a very specific corner of IT.
Yeah, it's I work on the transfer of data, and it has nothing to do with cell phones.
There you go.
Or anything else, anything else. There's nothing else that I know about other than transferring data
Speaking of
from
which,
my home.
and that's also why he's not here tonight, because they're working on a migration. Todd, you and Bob should get together and make that an instant thing where they can just migrate stuff immediately. 'Cause
Seriously.
it's 2024.
It sounds like he needs some Todd Dillon fucking know-how is what it sounds like.
It sounds like the non-technologists on this podcast need a lesson in speed of light and bandwidth.
Wow. Slamming both of those, including one person that just gave you an amazing compliment, biting the hand
It was
feeds
it was
you.
a soft slam.
Yeah, it was slightly
It was a soft
backhanded. Sounds like you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But
In kinder words, damn it.
yeah. Okay, I got you. All right.
I think I got my smell one down. So, like, when you're at the ocean and there's a dead fish carcass somewhere around,
Googly moogly.
Oh, okay.
there's something about the smell of that dead fish carcass that
What?
I'm like that's
Wait, what?
because it just reminds me of. I'm like, I know you're around the water when.
Okay, I'll agree with the fishy smell of the ocean, but not physically seeing a dead fish and being
exactly.
like, let me get closer to that.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm all right with it.
So there must so take us back. What was the positive experience that, like, first time at the ocean? We're going back. Hold on, we're going back. Must have been I dare I say an even shorter version of Cory Schnozzcast at a certain time that first went to the lake or the ocean and really enjoyed yourself, and there happened to be a dead fish around, and your brain created some sort of positive placebo to this scent.
To be honest with you, I couldn't even tell you when it originated or how it originated. I would assume probably when we were up north, and every once in a while, even on Lake Huron, there's some fish that'll wash up and be sitting on the beach for a couple days, baking in the sun.
When you see that line of high tide of, like, sticks and foam.
Where the seaweed was at?
Yeah, seaweed and dead fishes and fishies and like little crab
I'm all right with that.
carapaces and all that shit.
It smells amazing to me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Again, this is my answer, not yours.
No, I can understand that because, your sense of smell is the closest sense tied to memory. And so if one of your first times going to the water was positive and you smelled that, then your brain creates that positive placebo that associates that scent with something good, whereas normal people would think that's horrible. In the same regard that your brain creates a negative placebo when something tries to kill you, like vanilla vodka. Smells absolutely disgusting to me. So
that wasn't the question, though. It's got to be something that smells good.
Right, of course, but it works in both. There's the right hand and the left hand.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, Todd, what
can you restate the question, because I'm still struggling to pick one out?
So the question is, it's twofold. Two questions. What is your favorite weird smell? And what
that one I get. So I answered the other one.
Yeah, and what do you find fairly
others find
easy that
difficult?
others seem to struggle with?
Right. So what smell? I think I said this before. I think the smell of corn dogs at the fair, like,
I don't think that's weird.
I think there's
I don't think
whatever
that's
that carnival food smell, that carnival food, like all the
deep fried
elephant ears and
deep fried shit.
Yeah, all the deep fried glory. That's why I think one of my missions is to get to the Texas State Fair so I could smell deep fried beer along with corn dogs and all that other shit.
Deep fried beer?
You've never had deep fried beer?
No.
It's and Todd, you can correct me if there's a different version at the Texas Fair, but one of the versions I've had, like they put beer in like a little like ravioli shell, and then flash fry it.
Yeah, and then freeze it. Yeah, well, and then they freeze it and then fresh fry. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
that
Or you can make a beer pickle and then batter it and then
that being said, it's kind of the same premise of deep fried butter. No, I've never heard that in my life. But that is not a weird smell. There are millions and millions and millions of dollars that go into putting things into food at carnivals to bring people in based on the scent when it's being fried. I mean, there's a lot of studies and things that have gone into that. Like, that is not a weird, no one goes to a carnival and like, oh God, those elephant ears smell horrible. They pump that out of those little carts specifically so you come up. That is not a weird smell. It smells delicious.
It's not a weird smell.
Deep fried onions, elephant ears with cinnamon, corn dogs. Yeah, that's popcorn. That smells amazing.
You know what I can't stand? When you walk into Yankee Candle
Yeah.
and it smells goddamn amazing. That's disgusting.
God, that's one of my favorite weird smells is the Macintosh apple candle from Yankee Candle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Well,
Nasty.
yeah. No, I'm gonna have to revoke that, Todd, and say that we need a weird smell that you find good. I will go first on what do you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with. I would say
Cooking.
no.
No.
I wouldn't even say that. I mean, with cooking and loving to cook and kind of being culinary minded, like a foodie, whatever you want to call it, there's always shit to learn. And I'm not great. I'm decent. I'm okay. But I'm not great. And so there's always stuff to learn. And so to say that it comes easy wouldn't make any sense, because it certainly doesn't. Because if it came easy, I'd be amazing. And I'm not.
I think you're selling yourself short. You make a lot of amazing things that are easy for you. Like you what was your shrimp dish that you talked about? That's something that's easy for you. That other shit. I've given Bob 18 freaking Instant Pot recipes, and he's deployed 0 because he can't cook worth a shit.
I mean, it's a healthy combination of wanting to learn, having someone that can actually teach you, training your palate, and following directions. If it was only about following directions, everyone would be amazing at it. You know, there's a reason why, you know, like it's kind of like improving things or construction work. Like, you can't just say, okay, number one, get your drill bits out, and number two, get your saw out, and then cut this, and there's measuring twice and cutting once, and well, I've done this a million times, so I know that I don't need to do this, and I'm gonna kind of edge this corner, and I have this know-how to make sure. As with anything, as you do it more, you learn. And if people don't like to do it, or they don't have the passion to do it, then there's, you know, they're not going to be that great at it. But that being said,
yeah, and a lot of men don't have the passion for cooking like you and I do. So I think that I'm giving you my answer for you, even though you have a different one.
I appreciate that, but actually most men are 80% of chefs are men. So it's that doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah, Todd. Jesus, didn't you look that up before we started the show?
Even if 80% of chefs being men is the thing, I would say in households, probably 80 or 90% of women do the cooking.
And you know what? I actually think that's changing. From what I've heard from like younger people, and you know, I have all kinds of avenues to younger people, but from the small amounts that I've talked to, it has turned a corner. And it has been now that guys are more interested in cooking and women are not really interested in cooking, like from my small experience. That being said, I certainly appreciate the compliment. I don't think you've had enough of my food to really make that decision. I know personally, I know personally it's something I enjoy, but I will say I'm decent at best. As far as something that comes easy, artwork and stuff like that, drawing, doing things for the show, extracurricularly, you know, for when I worked with Mike, you know, that's stuff that comes super easy to me. If I had more tools to do it, who knows what I could do, but I do most of that from my phone. So yeah, so I would say that comes easy to me and I enjoy it. But anyhow, Corey's got a shot in front of us.
Yes, sir. Todd, pour yourself one.
Pouring.
Oh, there's
Ready.
the cooler. Bucket of Legos.
Lick the top of that bottle.
Indeed.
Oh, dude, I'm still trying to recover from that.
Still bummed out.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Salute.
On my screen, Todd's still pouring a shot.
That's the good stuff, boy.
Woo-wee.
All right, so I've got favorite smell down. I've got what do I find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with down. Cory, what do you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with?
Parallel parking.
You find it easy.
From day one in driver's ed.
Yeah?
Got it, no problem. Have never had an issue since. As a matter of fact, when we were downtown shooting stuff for the episode with Dave, found a spot right on the street on Woodward, pulled up next to this car, backed in, no problem. We got out, and Lori was even like, "Wow." I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, that was really impressive. I was like, "What was?" She's like, "The way you just parallel park that easy." I'm like, it's one of those things that I've never really had to think about, but I watch other people do it, or I've been in the car with other people when they try to do it, and it's like a 10-point turn that you have to do, and you're holding up traffic. I don't know what it is, but I've never had an issue with it.
I would say this. I don't find myself in enough parallel parking circumstances. I don't think I've had a problem with it, but I'm not going to, turn it into a competition like where if I'm like, oh, maybe I'll almost fit, I'm not going to say, all right, well, you're going to see some real magic now. I got this. Like, I'm going to just be like, okay, well, probably 10 feet up, I'm going to find another spot.
Oh, no, buddy. We're busting out that magic bag, pulling the rabbit right out of the hat.
Yeah.
We're fitting in that space.
So it's funny. I like you, Cory. I learned my driving skills in Michigan, and I was an amazing parallel parker until the first time I scuffed my AMG rims, and ever since then, I'm a little bit tentative. I have no problem actually getting into the spot, but I am tentative because I don't want to scuff my rims.
Understandable. And I mean, yeah, depending on if you have a vehicle that has some expensive rims or some, lower profile tires. Yeah, curbs can be a problem in that situation.
He's the only reason he's saying that is because all the S classes park themselves. That's the only reason he's saying it. He's like, yeah, watch what I can do.
No, actually, here's the funny thing. So my Escalade has self parking, and I've only once. I'm like, one day, I'm like, let me see if I can get this to work. And there's like 80 cars behind me. And I'm like, and then I was too. Exactly. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just whip it in there. And then you know what I did? I scuffed the fucking rim.
Todd's like, Mary, watch this. He
I can get in this spot.
Presses the parallel park button, puts his hands in the air.
And I was saying, for all the listeners out there, I'm not doing it in a car that can parallel park itself, nor do I use the backup camera when I'm parallel parking. It's simply from looking around and
hand on the passenger seat, face looking backwards.
Exactly.
Don't even do that.
Wow. So how do you park? You look straight forward and just hope for the best.
Dead straight.
All right. You're full of fucking shit. I don't buy that. So you don't look at a backup camera and you don't look behind you.
No, I mean, you look over your shoulder. You don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't do the old dad reach around the passenger seat and look all the way back. No. It's a quick look over the shoulder. I already know the spot's open. I don't need to know what's.
I'll be honest with you. When I was 18 and I went to Southland to apply for their security police. Of course, I wasn't certified, so I would have just been security. And they took me for like a driving course in one of the squad cars. And he said, this lieutenant, I forget, it was Bob something. And he was like, all right, so we want to see, he's going to back into that space. They have one of the many things we had to do. And I'm saying, okay. And I went like this, and I put my hand on the seat, and my other hand was on the steering wheel, and I looked over my shoulder like this. He's like, all right, you can stop. I said, oh, shit. I said, I do something wrong?
Nope,
He's like,
you just looked.
He goes, no, that's what we were looking for. Because there's some people that just back up. He goes, you actually turn around and look behind you. And I'm like, how do you just back up? Like, what that's what you do. It was almost like I was accepted into the father club. Like at that point in time, they're like, oh yeah, you had a good dad. You're looking over your shoulder.
He's one of us.
But what is with the hand on the seat?
Real men of genius.
We
should shoot our own Real Men of Genius video off that.
Here's to you, Mr. Put your hand on the seat and look over your shoulder, backing up, man. Mr. Look over your shoulder, backing up, man.
Yeah, that seems like, because I remember my dad doing that all the time.
I do that.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, he would. Like, he'd have that hand right behind the passenger seat and give it good. Like
yeah.
you could almost hear his back crack when he turned.
You have to, unless you have backup cameras now. I mean, like you saw Greg's car. God, that was probably 7 months ago, and that had front cameras, side cameras, back camera. I mean, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
it was like a spaceship.
See, and you know what I think is kind of sad. I think anyone taking their driver's ed test should have to go back to the basics. You can't. No cars with backup cameras and self-parking. No, every driver's ed car should be just and now people use their own cars for you. Just slap the sticker on it and you do your road test. You should have to drive an old 1994 Ford Fusion or Focus.
No. Now you're sounding like the group that is like, if you take a driver's ed test, you got to have a stick shift. You have to drive.
You don't have to go that far. I'm just saying you shouldn't.
I would say, but even with that, if Cory, I'm going to disagree with you slightly. Then, if you want them to have kind of the basic bare bones and really learn how to do it, forget your Ford Focus and those little cars. Then they should have to drive like a 1976 Cadillac Eldorado, something that's super long. That way, you have to judge how long your vehicle is, how big the space is, and then see if you can parallel park that thing. Yeah, that would be a much better if you're going to get up.
I won't disagree with you there. I'm just thinking as far as even again seeing people how they drive today and parking and all that. It's already bad enough with when people have these huge cars that they can't handle. So I was just trying to be a little generous, I guess, and let's at least start off with something manageable because I'm sure people are still going to screw that up. Parking a Focus parallel or front, back, whatever the case might be, should be an easy task. But I feel like there's plenty of people out there that it's still not, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
TD.
I know people that are intimidated by it. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, buddy, but we need to know something that you find easy that other people.
No, he already did that.
What did he do?
I did that. I have a smell, but I do have my smell now.
Yeah, the smell.
I do have my smell now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. My smell. And this is very first worldy. The smell of a fresh, like brand new set of Bridgestone golf balls.
I don't think Todd's understanding the question today. That's not.
So I don't know what that smells
like.
When
you open up that sleeve, the smell of a brand new. That's a great smell. That's a weird smell, isn't it?
No, it's not weird at all, dude. That's like just like when you open up a fresh pair of tennis shoes. And you're like, oh, Cory, yeah, those are fresh.
Cory, a fresh plastic canister of new tennis balls.
That was the other thing I was thinking. That's not a bad scent that other people would be like, fuck this smell. I hate this.
We need something that normal people find deplorable. Like I said skunk.
Like
Cory said dead fish.
Yeah,
you're saying delicious new items that you just purchased.
Todd, you need to be like, oh, when one of my dogs lets their butthole open and farts everywhere.
No, please don't say that.
Mary's puking, and I'm like, oh, yeah, dogs. That's it.
Dog farts are the worst. Don't say that, please.
So I'm just trying to give him an idea of where we're at.
I think you sealed the deal on me getting a dog, by the way, with that comment.
Todd's like, new car? Oh, love new car.
Oh, my God. Mary, we're trying to solve the mystery of Bo. Mary is feeding Bo something where when he's walking, when he's trotting down the paths, he's like,
ooh,
the whole
he's got the trots,
and he's got the trots. So wait a minute. So the weird smell has to be something that would be offensive to others that I find
it's
appealing.
weird. It's not a good smell. It's a weird smell. Like if you were like, I don't know, man. Like something that, I mean, what a great example. Like I said, mine was skunk and Cory's was dead fish. You can't be like, oh, new this, new that.
That's what I said. This new car. No one else likes this smell
I
except
said
for
Carnival
me.
Foods.
Expensive restaurant.
I like the smell. I like the smell of KFC. I know it's going to give me the runs.
Amazing carnival food. No, there's studies and millions and millions and millions of dollars going into those scents.
Have you guys ever been to a movie theater when they just pop some fresh popcorn?
Yeah.
I love it. I'm sure other people hate it, but I can't get enough of that smell.
Figure it out, Todd. We need something. We need like. My dad used to take me to the tracks when I was younger. I love the smell of burning rubber. Or we used to live around a lot of
funny
farms. Manure is a
Here's
great
the
one.
funny thing, Nick. I'm truly. This is like the hardest question you've ever asked, because I'm like, from a smell perspective, I'm very, because I'm like, I like sports, and I was gonna say, I'm like, I hate the smell of dirty locker rooms. Like, I know some of my buddies used to like the football season, when you walk in the locker room, it smells like old jock straps and sweaty pads. I'm like, no, that's disgusting to me. I can't think of an off-putting odor.
You and Mary would have to have a conversation if you thought that was a good smell. So,
yeah, I was gonna say the only off-putting. So I guess the only off-putting odor that I still indulge, but still is disgusting to me, I guess, is I like Fritos, but if you ever been around somebody who doesn't have good foot hygiene and they take their shoes off and they smell like Fritos, that turns my stomach.
Shout out to Matt Clark, Little Bear. We used to call him Little Bear at when we used to work together. But yeah, the funny thing that you say that, Todd, is the only girl that works with us, Daisha, she's a black female. We were talking the other day, and I made a reference. We were telling a story, made a reference to a funny joke about how it was warm in the office or something like that. And I said something in regards to, and just being fictitious, like, so-and-so took off their shoes or something. And she's like, I thought I smelled some Fritos. And I'm like Fritos? I'm like, I've never heard that reference, but it's so disgustingly true, kind of.
You've never heard that?
No,
Yes.
It's nasty. Fritos,
dude.
I looked.
Call me after the show to tell you. I'll tell you my big boob story around Fritos.
Todd, I looked at her. I'm very intrigued, by the way. And I looked at her and I said, wait a second. I just thought someone was making walking tacos. And she's like, exactly.
Walking tacos.
No, like I said, I can't think of an off-putting smell.
I knew Cory would be all
that
about
I like.
walking tacos.
I can't think of an off-putting smell that brings me happiness. I'm like a good smell guy. Like, I like lavenders.
Todd, we couldn't tell.
Todd, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to answer the question. The question is, what is your favorite weird smell? Not amazing smell that people put millions and millions of dollars into perfumes and colognes.
Oh my god!
Just the audience. So if you're just joining us, just so you're aware, this is Nick's existential question. It's a segment that we do, and I said the smell of skunk because my up north cabin sometimes smells like skunk, and that's a memory I remember. Cory says when he first went to the beach, there was like a rotting fish, so fishy kind of smell is a positive thing to him. Those are weird things, skunk and fish. Todd said delicious deep-fried food at a carnival is his weird smell.
And then switched up to a fresh sleeve of Bridgestone golf balls when you first open them.
Brand new, expensive golf equipment, like a new car, basically.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the point of the question. Weird smell, Todd. Weird smell. What is your favorite weird smell? Not amazing good smell. Like, we can all huff paint and smell new cars, and we love that.
Wait, why? Wait, huffing paint.
What about Vicks Vapor Rub?
No,
Vicks
again,
Vapor Rub.
And
It
you already
smells
said
amazing.
you also
And
said
you eat it.
Yeah, you eat it. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Clearly,
Because
it's not
it's so
bad.
good.
Clearly, it's not bad if you're willing to also ingest it. Yeah, Nick's not going under the cabin and getting that skunk out and being like, "Let me taste it." I'm not digging up that fish from the beach and being like, "Oh, let me gnaw on the bones."
Hey, you know what I do after I smell that fresh skunk smell up at my cabin?
Jerk off.
After that.
Okay,
Yeah, after that,
makes sense. Makes
I
sense.
make a nice Vapor Rub sandwich.
That's nothing
That
like
sound delicious?
two pieces of bread with some
Yeah,
Vicks in
boy.
between them.
That camphor really hits the
Exactly.
spot. Todd's getting hungry.
And,
right
and,
now.
and if you got time, you toast it too.
Don't get me started. All right, Todd. Still got a question to answer here, buddy.
Well, Todd's thinking about that. Matt said he's ready to be
Can you
a
repeat
guest.
the question? Repeat
Perfect.
the question.
Question is, so there were two questions that
Yep.
we answered the first one. What do you find fairly easy that others seem to struggle with? We all answered that. Corey
Did that
said
one.
being
Yep.
short, he finds very easy. I said
You can go fuck yourself.
Corey, what did you say? I forget.
Parallel parking.
Oh, yeah, parallel parking. Todd said technology. I said
There was certain parts of the technology that he was referring to.
I
Not
said-
all technology.
I said graphic design. Favorite weird smell. I said the skunky smell of my cabin when we open it every year. Corey said the beach when he goes and smells the fishy, decaying carcasses on the beach. It somehow is a positive scent. And Todd has not correctly answered this question.
I didn't know there was correct answers to these questions
Oh, dude, there's
because I feel like I did.
a system of you tried to answer it twice.
Todd, I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm with Nick on this one. There's times that I'm definitely with you as far as answering the questions, but yeah, you're definitely off on the questions tonight.
Okay. I have one then. This
Got one,
I
okay,
think this will
okay.
cover it.
Uh-huh.
I do. The smell at any farm. It's all the manures, and I do because I love animals, and so I guess
All right.
to and recently I've been volunteering at a miniature horse farm, and so yeah, I think the smell when I get there, I'm super excited. So I guess miniature donkey, horse, miniature horse shit is my favorite smell. That
I mean, based on the fact
if it
that
gets me off the hook here.
based on the fact that you've told us tonight that you're volunteering at old folks' homes, and then you started a sentence with volunteering at horse farms, and you then told us the smell of donkey shit, and then you corrected yourself to miniature horse shit. I think horse shit is really the commonality that we're finding on this show tonight because I don't know if anything you're saying is true right now.
No, well, for clarity's sake, I did not say I was volunteering at old folks' homes, but I do.
No,
frequent
creepily
old
enough,
folks'
you said you visit them. You've been visiting them.
homes. Every week.
All different ones.
Every week.
Just goes
And that
around
you
to
ha-
random
No,
places.
one specific one.
And you have
Every
to tell
no,
us
every
off
week
air
I
why.
go to the same one.
Okay.
I told you I had a boo thing.
And so what
Don't tell Mary.
Trust me, the internet will not tell her.
what miniature horse farm / donkey farm are you visiting? Also, that's what I want to know.
Follow-up question to Nick's question, Todd. When you go
sir.
volunteer at this miniature donkey farm, what are the chances that you'd
Miniature
be able
horse,
to,
yeah, miniature equine, I guess is a more appropriate term.
what are the chances you'd be able to steal a couple miniature donkeys? Because I would really be interested in one.
Yeah, most people would be. They're actually very popular, but they're often very abused. So no chances that I could steal them. Plus, actually, miniature equine are actually fairly dangerous, especially the ones that are rescued. So, yeah, but no, I've had the privilege of being able to volunteer a little bit, and I'm looking to do more.
I think I'm willing to deal with those dangers, Todd, because a little miniature donkey running around the house would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. They're so it's kind of funny with one of my mentors when we go out when my mentor and I we walk, she has 2 miniature donkeys that we take for like 2-mile walks when I meet up with her.
Okay.
So because I was going to mention earlier too, but I was having too much fun with you bringing up new things that you like to smell. I was like, he has a chicken coop that he loves spending time out in.
Oh, I don't like any of the smells that come out of there.
You don't
I
like
do
the
not
smells
like
of
any of the
chicken
smells
coop?
that come out of there.
Hold on.
I detest
Hold
it.
on. Okay. So
Because you were going to disqualify me. You know what I love? You know what I love the smell of my chicken coop? When I shovel all the shit that's in there out and I put in fresh hemp and fresh pine shavings.
Okay,
and then it smells like hemp and pine shavings. And it's awesome.
hang on. I'm not trying to back you into a corner here. But
yes, sir.
What's the difference as far as smells between horse shit and a chicken coop? Why is the chicken coop disgusting to you? But horse's shit is amazing.
Big difference.
Well, I know size-wise, the shit is very different.
And chicken's shit 24/7, and it's a different smell, and it's disgusting. Like I said, I don't like the smell of my chicken coop until I've shoveled all the shit out and put in fresh hemp and fresh pine. And I feel like I would have gotten disqualified for saying, "Oh, the smell of my chicken coop," after I've shoveled all the shit out and put in fresh hemp and pine. Well, feels like this pine shavings would have been disqualified.
You would have had it correct if you just would have said the smell of my chicken coop and left everything else out.
Chicken wing.
Because I think that's not true. It's disgusting.
Hot dogs and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies.
Thank you, sir. I didn't know that was still on there.
Chicken wing.
Yeah, you could have had this answered hours ago, Todd. Had you just said my chicken coop, I don't think anyone would have questioned that.
Yeah,
and left out the fact that it had to be clean.
Yeah, you would have had to fibbed a little bit, but
I might be on board with Todd to say that, and I know you don't understand the reference, but as George once said from Seinfeld, manure is kind of a positive thing. Like it's not a horrible, nauseating smell.
It's like ma.
Yeah, and the manure. But chicken shit and goose shit and bird shit, I don't even know. I haven't been around enough of it to know if it smells, but it's disgusting.
I'll mail you guys some.
But manure just looks like a bunch of wet hay, with dirt in it, and it just has a weird like farm smell. That's kind of what it smells like. But yeah,
because horses are vegetarians, chickens are omnivores. All omnivores have stinky shit, whereas vegetarian animals, their shit doesn't tend to stink as bad.
I don't know about that. I've known a few girls that have been vegetarians, and their fucking farts smelled really bad. Just so you know.
Lori, if you're listening, he's not talking about you.
No, she's not a vegetarian.
Well, I mean, close enough.
She's an anti-glutite.
True. Very true. Todd, what are your thoughts on cow shit then?
Again, I think my smell was, I guess, the smell of the farm. If there were cows on the farm, I didn't look to see at the horse farm if there were any cows there. But yeah, I guess the smell of the farm, I think, is probably that's the only thing I can think of where I get a smile on my face, because I know that there's all manner of animals there, and I'm an animal lover. So it stinks. It's a weird smell. I think it passes Nick's test, being that Carnival's smells wasn't.
Guys, we have one more shot sitting in front of us for the evening, and we're gonna put a bow on this show. I know Todd's got something.
Put a bow on it.
Todd's got something to go to.
And Todd, I applaud you for finally coming up with that answer, sir.
Yeah, it took 3 tries. We got there. Hey, 3 left turns make a right every now and then. So. Ladies and gentlemen, put your glasses.
I don't like stinky things.
Put your glasses together. Pour a libation. Get inebriated with us on the show. And cheers to your health. Slancha, Nastrovia, Prost. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Schnozzcast for this week. For Cory, Todd, Nick, and our good friend Bob, the man in the streets, this has been the Schnozzcast.
Bob Beep.
Be good to yourselves. And that's it. No one else.